Hi beautiful souls, welcome to another video in our Pluto series, and today we're going to be talking about Pluto in the 4th house. So I've made a Pluto introduction video. I suggest that you watch that video first so you can kind of get an idea about Pluto and how Pluto can be your lightness as well as of course your darkness, which we all know Pluto can be. So with Pluto in the 4th house, your transformation comes from being able to have inner emotional security. Inner emotional security is something that cannot be dependent on anybody else except yourself. Pluto is going to make you learn this particular lesson by putting you in pretty harsh situations in your life where you're not going to get the external security. And Pluto's going to do this all the way back since you were, in your childhood. Meaning that you're probably somebody who was born into a family, and you're going to feel this more if Pluto is right conjunct to your IC, but I would recommend that you check this in the equal house, the Placidus, as well as the whole signs, because maybe Pluto's in the 5th in different houses, or maybe it's in the 3rd, and you may resonate more with those particular Pluto placements. So just check across various house systems and see how it works for you. But generally, with Pluto in the 4th house, the home environment, as well as the domestic life that shapes your inner self at your core, you grew up in a family that didn't provide you with that. So, emotional security means that you're able to be in an environment of safety. Safety to express your feelings, your wants, and your needs without feeling like you're going to be attacked, or you're going to be judged, or you're going to be neglected. That's the first criteria of emotional security. As well as being able to be with people who you feel you can be vulnerable with, be yourself with. This is emotional security. So something happened in your childhood where it was not a safe environment for you to express your needs, your wants. Depending on what else is going on in the 4th, sometimes it's an actual physical insecurity, meaning that you may not even feel physically safe. Maybe it was that you couldn't be vulnerable and you needed to have your guard up. If Pluto is exactly conjunct your IC, you had to be strong. You had to, before you could even know it, be your own rock, even. But if Pluto's not conjunct the IC, this can vary because you're working to be your own rock. So I'll just talk about Pluto being in the 4th house first, and then I'll talk about Pluto conjunct the IC a little bit later. But it could be, I would highly recommend that you trace back your family dynamics and see if there was some form of manipulation that was either happening with your parents, your siblings to you, your parents to each other, your parents to your siblings, your grandparents to your parents. Whatever that form of manipulation is. And I also highly recommend that you do some research on what constitutes manipulation. How can you tick off the list of things that can be considered manipulative as well as abusive? So this can look like your parents withholding certain rewards from you when it was not needed. It can look like your parents getting angry, and sometimes it's violence, or a lot of fighting with regards to the parents, and then one or the other parents coming to you for some kind of help. There's various different things that can be going on, and sometimes with all else, other alignments in your chart can even be some kind of illness with regards to the parents. That's going to depend. So there was not a lot of safety there in the home life when you were growing up. So there's a turmoil, an inner turmoil that's going on underneath the surface. So when you encounter situations, experiences in your adult life or teenage life, or you get into relationships with people, you really, really need your partners or any more intimate, close relationships that you get into, you really need them to make you feel safe emotionally. It's infinite, almost, the type of nurturing that you want other people to give you, because otherwise the turmoil exists inside. So the next thing I want to say, I don't want to sound like I'm offending you guys if you have this, but self-awareness is the key to self-growth, to becoming more spiritual, to finding happiness. So I hope that what I say next is gonna bring this self-awareness and bring some clarity to this part of you. And we all have Pluto somewhere in our charts anyways. So when you don't, because the emotional nurturing that you need from a partner is infinite to begin with, it almost feels like nobody can really give you that emotional nurturing that you need. It can almost feel like any type of relationship or partnership that you get into, they just don't seem to be able to fill that need that you infinitely needed in the first place. And the truth is, nobody can. So you may, without realizing it, resort to some form of manipulation now with that partner. Sometimes it can be abuse, because you see, the fourth house is not just the domestic or home life, but it's the inner part of you. If you have Pluto sitting there, you're deeply Plutonic. So sometimes the manipulation, you have to understand, of Pluto, it's very subtle. It creeps up over time. So it can look like you're getting into a relationship with someone and the person's not quite sure yet. They need time to think about whether they want to be with you. But for one reason or another, you say things to them that comes off as subtle threats, like, I really need this relationship because I'm having some difficulties in my home or in my life, and you're just wonderful. You make me feel so calm, so I really, really want to be with you. But the person has already told you in the first place that they're not yet ready, or they're still thinking about it. Why would you say that? You see what I mean? So this is an example. This is one example of it. Sometimes this is a withholding of emotions and feelings, and sex can happen. Sometimes it can look like, I've done so much for you. I've done so many things for you over the past 5 years. But I just asked this one thing from you that you haven't done for me. That's manipulation. That's instilling shame and guilt onto another person. Or sometimes it can look like Pluto rules other people's resources. Sometimes it can look like you make more money than me. And maybe your partner or whoever you're in a relationship with, they do make more money than you. You make more money than me, and we're gonna go out. We're gonna take my mom out for dinner, but you're making more money than me, so maybe you should be the one to pay for my mom's dinner. It could be something like this, but Pluto's not gonna say it directly, so Pluto's gonna say something like, yeah, you don't have to, that's totally fine, but you make more money than me. So be careful, watch out. If you're doing any of these things, it is not healthy. But you're doing it so that you can make sure that that person that you're very intimately involved with makes you feel safe and secure. Okay, so if you really feel like your partner is not giving you what you need, move away from that relationship. Don't try to change them, because Pluto will rip your intimate life apart. I'm sorry, but Pluto's going to do that if you're in a codependent intimate relationship. See, what you're actually doing when you are resorting to different types of tactics that can be a little bit more manipulative is that you're actually fearing vulnerability, because the closeness and the vulnerability that you can have with another person always is going to have an element of 50% chance of a heartbreak. That is just life. Even though you feel you can trust somebody 100%, they can still break your heart. You never know. That's what intimacy is, but it's worth the risk. You have to consider then, is it worth the risk? Is it worth your time? Because if you are putting out this energy of fear, of this unconscious insecurity, of the unconscious fear of vulnerability, of really being intimate and close, what you're going to get back is a partnership, a relationship that is filled with fears, intimate lives that are filled with this push and pull, these power struggles, because your partner's going to be able to sense something deeper and darker within you, Pluto in the 4th house people, that they're going to push back, they're going to withhold back, right? Because, you may, for example, subtly say that your partner has to pay for your mother's birthday, dinner, because they make more money than you. Because if you were to be the one to put in the money, that can be vulnerability, because you're saying that this relationship is worth a lot of my time and my investment. That, even though they're making more money than me, but I still have to give as much as them. That's like vulnerability. Money, sex, intimacy, they're linked. And you see, when you're not doing the giving or being the vulnerable person, your partner's gonna sense this. They're gonna think, okay, yeah, I can pay for your mother's birthday dinner because yes, I do make more money than you and we're a family, and your mother's my mother, so sure. But I don't know about this person, why they had to, act in such a way. It's the aura that you're giving off, the way that things are proceeding, that you're going to make the people close to you feel this awkwardness. So in the end, they may realize your tactics, your unconscious tactics. And Pluto is the most unconscious part of us. If it's in the 4th house, the house of the deepest part of you, it's very unconscious. So they may sense this about you, and they may eventually break off the relationship because they may one day realize, I'm kind of being manipulated in this relationship. You know what? I'm going to back away. That can happen. So if you've faced situations in your life where you were so intimate with somebody and then that had to end, really look inwards, look into yourself and see what was going on in that relationship. But most importantly, what happened in your childhood? What is still not being healed or not being purged? The reason why you feel so intensely in situations of intimacy, that can bring you self-awareness. You may need to talk to a professional who is able to trace back you and your childhood and help you to heal from that. Sometimes it's like somatic therapy that you need to get into, because you really need to change the emotional, habitual patterns completely. There's inner child work that has to be done here. So the next time when you do this particular type of healing, you're going to be able to have emotional stability, because you're going to realize when these intense feelings pop up, when there's this urge to do or say something to your partner to get what you want, and to change your partner, you're going to be able to hold yourself back from that and then think to yourself, where is this coming from? To be able to understand the root cause of these intense emotions, that's emotional stability. When we don't know the root cause of where our feelings, our emotions are coming from, and we're acting on it, we're going to seem like a roller coaster, like we're up and down. We're going to be up, down, up, down. But if we can trace it back and say, oh, this is what happened in my childhood. My parents had difficulties with money. And so this is why I am, in that particular example that I've used in this video, this is why I'm having difficulty merging my finances with another person that I'm in a close relationship with. Okay, I see where it's coming from. Is it necessary in this situation? And sometimes it's not necessary. When you put out an energy of fear, what you get back is fear. When you put out an energy of not trusting, what you get back is somebody who doesn't trust you. When you put out an energy of fear, oh, they're going to leave me 1 minute, they're not going to be with me 1 minute, what am I going to do when they leave me? They will leave you. Because you're exchanging this type of an insecure energy. So, after the healing process has been done, you're going to be so aware in relationships now. Not just aware of when your intense feelings come up, but you're going to have so much awareness of your partner's psychology, of their vulnerabilities. And when you have that compassion towards yourself, you gave yourself the love to heal yourself, you can give infinitely that compassion to your partner, meaning that you're going to be the one to open up first, to share your vulnerabilities first, to bond first, openly and freely. And your partner's going to do the same in return. This opening up of the heart of Pluto in the 4th house allows for trust to happen unconditionally in a relationship for a very sturdy foundation. Now, if you have Pluto conjunct the IC in the 4th, there's going to be a bit more of repressed anger, because you're taking that Pluto energy, you're not just putting the 4th, but you're squeezing the energy even more into this the deepest part of you, which is the IC. So Pluto has to really stuff itself in there. So there can be repressed anger. You may get angry with somebody, and you may act like you're not angry. You can be the nice, angry type of people, and your partner's going to feel, but your partner's going to feel differently. They're going to feel like you're angry a lot. They're unsure of how to do things around you. They're walking on eggshells around you because they don't know when you're going to get angry. Know that it is okay to be angry, that there's something in your childhood that had kept you in an emotional pattern of needing to be self-sufficient, of needing to protect yourself and be very strong since you were very young. You had to do it. It was a coping mechanism, but it's not now. You don't have to do it now. Now you can be free. You can have healthy outlets of anger for yourself. Release it. Free your past. Become a new person, released of the past conditioning. So with whether Pluto is conjunct the IC or in the 4th, when you become healed, when you open up your heart, you're going to be somebody who has a magical gift of understanding emotions, the tides of emotions, your partner's emotions, the emotions of the people that you are encountering. Like I said, there's going to be an atmosphere of emotional security in your relationships that it's just so refreshing. It's refreshing to be with somebody who is so aware of their emotions and feelings, who is able to be this wise person when it comes to their emotions as well as other people's emotions and feelings, not suppressing it, not trying to control it, but letting it happen. There's light when you're in a relationship with these people, and the trust that can be generated is going to give you the satisfaction that you're looking for when it comes to intimacy. So that's going to be my take on Pluto in the 4th house. If you have this placement, do comment below and let us know what your experiences have been. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't. If you already subscribed, then thank you very much for coming along. I do birth chart readings, synastry, and relationship readings. All the information is on my website. You can check that out. And I hope I didn't offend anyone with this video, but like I said, I'm just rolling with Pluto here. Pluto is all about transparency. So I'll see you very soon, beautiful souls. Bye.